my show had value. What I was doing had value.
All right, let's talk about the absolute meltdown happening over at MSNBC.
Unnerving to see that on a network where we've got count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, that feels indefensible.
Yes.
And
If you've been paying even the slightest bit of attention, you probably already know the chaos that's been unfolding. And if you haven't,
You wonder why Americans think that you are a bleep show? The reason they think you're a bleep show is because of this. Chaos continues to reign in the media. It's hilarious to watch MSNBC have a full-scale meltdown over Joy Reid's departure.
before we continue, I'd like to ask for a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of our viewers watch without subscribing, and while it's free for you, it makes a world of difference to us. Have you hit that subscribe button? Awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the video.
The least joyful person ever to be named Joy would be ousted at MSNBC because her show was terrible and had no ratings. The ReidOut had like 2 viewers, and probably one of them was just from our show, meaning that the right used the ReidOut as more of a source than the American people used the ReidOut.
Seriously, her ratings were so bad that conservatives probably made up a bigger percentage of her audience than actual left-wing viewers. People weren't tuning in for her groundbreaking insights. They were watching just to see how crazy the takes could get. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. And of course, Joy didn't take it well.
Joy Reid was weeping openly on the social medias over her own heroism after having been fired from MSNBC. Okay.
According to her, she's not getting fired because her show was a dumpster fire. Oh no, it's because of racism and sexism and all the isms. Classic.
In the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude. Just pure gratitude. And my show had value. And that, I'm sorry.
I mean, come on. If it was really that valuable, people would have watched it. But MSNBC is one of the most left-wing networks in the country, and even they decided she was dead weight.
It is a wonderful moment because she, of course, was a terrible host and a terrible person who believes terrible things and foments the ideas and actions of other terrible people.
That's not oppression. That's just business. If they could make money off her, she'd still have a show. End of story. But wait, it gets even better.
But what's hilarious about this is it has now led to a full-scale insurrection over at MSNBC, where the other DEI-aiming left-wing hosts came out from the woodwork to explain that they were very sad that Joy Reid was going. This included, of course, Rachel Maddow, who isn't sad enough to give up her $30 million a year salary at MSNBC or anything, but a little sad, you know?
Rachel Maddow, who by the way makes $30 million a year to host a show once a week, decided to step in and lecture MSNBC about how letting Joy Reid go was indefensible.
There is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I have learned so much from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that. Unnerving to see that on a network where we've got count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible.
Yes.
And I do not defend it.
Hold on a second. Indefensible? Like MSNBC is supposed to keep someone on the air just because of their race? That's the argument? That's not how this works.
Monday night spot, Rachel Maddow. Oh, love it, love it. Just call them all racists. That's going to work out amazing for you. Left wing, you guys broke it and you bought it. And this is what happens. You wonder why Americans think that you are a bleep show? The reason they think you're a bleep show is because of this. It's because they look at how you run institutions, including your own, and they say, are you insane?
But guess what? If Rachel really cared, she could offer up her own slot. I mean, she's a white woman, right? Shouldn't she step aside for diversity? Oh, but that massive paycheck probably makes it a little harder to be quite that woke, huh? Here's the reality. MSNBC didn't fire Joy Reid because they suddenly turned into Fox News. They fired her because no one was watching. But when your whole shtick is pushing race, gender, and activism over competence, you can't ever admit that someone just wasn't good at their job. Nope, it has to be oppression.
And then you fire a couple of other hosts, and now you've got Rachel Maddow, the face of your stupid organization, out there calling you racist. Love it. enjoying it.
So MSNBC is in shambles, and the meltdown isn't stopping anytime soon. But let's shift gears for a second, because this isn't the only ridiculous thing happening right now. Let's talk about the latest hilarious battle between the Trump administration and the Associated Press.
The Trump administration is going up against the Associated Press. So the Associated Press has now sued the Trump administration because the administration said that they can't come on Air Force One. And the reason for that is because the Trump administration is mad at the AP for not renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
I mean, really? This is the battle you want to fight? Now, let's be real. If Trump's team is literally saying, you can't come to our press events unless you use the exact words we want, that's probably not going to hold up in court.
Now, the reality is that if the White House said the reason that you're ousted is because you won't say the things we want you to say, probably the White House loses in court on that because that would presumably be a First Amendment violation. What they actually should just say is, listen, we're not even going to give you a reason, right? The White House under Joe Biden didn't include any of the alternative media at all. And we're going to treat all media equally, which means the AP does not get a leg up on, say, the Daily Wire or Breitbart or Daily Caller or anybody else in the online media.
The media has a right to editorial independence. That's kind of a big deal in the US. But at the same time, let's not act like the Biden administration wasn't also playing favorites with media access. They barely let any conservative outlets in the door. But this lawsuit, it's such a pointless distraction. The AP wants to act like they're some brave warriors for free speech, but they have no problem running cover for Democrats every single day.
Yesterday, Edward Martin, who's the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, he put out a statement, quote, as President Trump's lawyers, we are proud to fight to protect his leadership as our president, and we are vigilant in standing against entities like the AP that refuse to put America first. He put that out as like a full-on graphic statement. That is just conceding the actual legal case. Because if the case that you are making is that the media have to reflect the perspective of the president of the United States to be given access, you're going to lose in court. Also, it sounds rather tyrannical and stupid. There is no reason to do that sort of stuff.
Now, back to the insanity of politics. Because here's the real takeaway from all this nonsense. The left is losing it. They build these institutions based on ideology. They push these insane narratives, and then they're shocked when their own logic comes back to bite them. MSNBC thought they could just keep playing the race and gender game forever, but at some point when the money stops flowing, the whole thing collapses.
The important thing is to continue pushing forward where common sense ought to prevail. This is the mandate. The mandate is common sense. The mandate is to stand against the Ilhan Omars and the insane employees at the NSA. That's the mandate. That is them. And anytime the Trump administration strays from that mandate, they will get less popular. And anytime they fulfill that mandate, they will get more popular. It is, in fact, that simple.
The winning strategy is simple. Expose the left's hypocrisy. Show the American people how ridiculous these institutions have become. And focus on the common sense policies that people actually care about. So, what do you guys think? Is MSNBC completely imploding? Is the AP lawsuit just another media tantrum? And seriously, would you be down to call it the Gulf of America? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.